Okay, everybody. I just thought I'd go ahead and take a picture. Got the shop all painted, house all painted. Just finished mowing again. That's a never-ending battle around here. Fig trees are growing good. Next thing I got to do is rebuild the chicken coop and put a new roof on it. It's all collapsing. Thanks to my fantastic carpentry skills. There's a peacock enclosure. This was a winter project one time quite a while ago. Yeah, they're awful noisy birds, but they make great watchdogs, that's for sure. Yeah, they can fly around a little bit in there anyway. Well, let's walk over here and see if old Chico and Coco are out and about in the pasture. My buddy just dropped off a load of grass clippings for them, so they're good and fat, I'm sure. Oh yeah, there they are. I don't know if you can see them over there, enjoying their food. Okay, let's walk toward the house. This road is an easement through my property for all the neighbors. I didn't like it at first, but it doesn't bother me now. These Kwanzan flowering cherries were just twigs when I planted them 30 years ago. Now look at them. Boy, they're sure beautiful when they blossom. Sure beautiful when they blossom. Well, I finally got the man-made creek unplugged and flowing. The pond is filling, and actually it just filled up last night and started to flow. This is my man-made creek and waterfall. This is what flows down and keeps my pond fresh and clear all the time. Although I've got lots of lily pads in it, I'm going to have to do something with here pretty soon. Fruit trees. Brand new little pear tree I just planted this year. Hopefully it'll live. Bing cherry tree there. Well, this is my front yard. Forever mowing and trimming, it seems like. It's a never-ending battle. Italian prune tree, a little bit on the decrepit side, but still produces a little bit. Last year I planted that little apple tree. It's got quite a few apples on it already. You can see my satellite dish there. I'm going to tear that out as it hasn't been operable in about 10 years. It's kind of outdated. There's a green gauge plum tree I planted last year. It'll have fruit on it next year. You can see these weeping willows. I had to replace them all. A beaver cut them all down about 3 years ago. This is a Mahathi plum tree right here. It produces thousands of plums. It went over in a windstorm and an ice storm last year. So I pushed it up with my tractor and propped it up with a log. Seems to have lived anyway. And my favorite of all the plum trees is this Shiro plum. I had to plant this one last year. I had one that would just produce thousands of plums. And I come out of the house, I looked over here, and it was on the ground. A beaver cut it down. So now I have wire all around them. On the edge of the lawn there is the creek that runs the length of the pasture and into the river. As you can see, the pond is full. It's also full of lily pads. I got to do something with all those. We get a lot of frogs. We also get a lot of ducks and wood ducks, mallards. They bring their babies in and kind of spend their juvenile time here growing up. Kind of cool. We try to feed them whenever we can. I'm walking around the back of the pond now. You can see over in the corner there where the creek is flowing into the pond. Anyway, all right, let's take a little walk on around. You can't see the creek real well here because it's buried in blackberries. I'll try to show it to you. There, a little bit of it. This is a year-round salmon spawning creek. It flows all year. Salmon and even steelhead go up it all the way up the pasture and spawn. All of these weeping willows are new, just planted last year. If I see that damn beaver again, I'm going to shoot him. Kind of frustrating. The pond looks nice now that it's full again. It hasn't been full for the past year and a half because I've had the pipe clogged up with sand and gravel. Finally got that unclogged. Took a week to fill. You can see the house just with a fresh coat of paint on it over there. I got to get in here and fix my dock. I've got a little where the gazebo is. It came apart when the pond level dropped and one of the pumps came disconnected. I'll do that when I get time. When you're retired, nothing seems to be like you're in a hurry. Back down here is the creek. You can probably see a little bit of it through the trees. Flowing around the back edge of the pond. Okay, let's walk over toward the river here. The river is in the backyard. There's the deck I had some of my crews built for me several years ago. It's a Trex deck with cedar railings. It takes forever to stain the damn railings, but it's all right. You can see my fish cleaning station there on the bank of the river. And there's the river. You can see where the creek flows into it right down here off to the right. People have been rafting the river because we've had some awful warm days already. It's kind of neat, put inner tubes in there and drift down. Here's the horseshoe pits. There's the back of the deck, back of the house. Looking back up the pond. All the decks have lights in all the steps and looks real pretty at night when you light it up while you're in the hot tub. Hot tub's up there on the right corner of the deck, right next to the sliding door to my bedroom. This area right ahead of us here, I had a 6-foot tall Christmas tree that grew to over 60 feet tall. So we built the deck out around it, and that's where we fed all the squirrels and the birds. Still feed them there. But about 2 years ago, we had a bad windstorm blew the tree in half, so it took out part of the deck, landed in the pond, and ended up winching it out with the truck and cutting it all up and repairing the deck. But that's what's left of the Christmas tree. So I don't know what to do with it exactly. We just keep feeding the animals. We've got some tomato plants, some thyme, more tomato plants, some sage, and some chives. Getting ready to plant cucumbers and lettuce. Just a little bit. Anyway, well, that's pretty much it. This is the old wood shed. I'm converting into a freezer room now that I got rid of the wood stove. Just had it all painted up inside, but it has a lot of ventilation, and the freezer room gets so hot that this is where we're going to put them. Make a nice little area for them. I'm looking forward to getting them out of there. And the front of the house. Rhododendrons and hydrangeas. Just dumped some dirt in to start cleaning that area up a little bit. There's a truck and the pond. We'll go up here and walk the creek down real quick so you can see where it dumps into the pond. Two more newly planted trees. These are apples, different varieties of apples. These azaleas are beautiful when they bloom. They're salmon colored, an orange salmon color. Just gorgeous. But they don't last very long. I got to get in here and clean out these pools, dig them all out and get all the weeds and stuff out of them. We got some grapes over here. They're okay, nothing special. I dug them out of a lady's yard in Arlington about 25 years ago. She wanted to get rid of them, so I planted them here. And they produce quite a few grapes. They're just not the best eating. Better for jelly. These two apple trees here just produce thousands of apples. So I got to get in here and thin them out. They're growing too heavy. Too many apples. But boy, these are tasty. These are Liberty and Spartans. They're tart, very crisp and crunchy, but you can see them all in here. They're just everywhere. I just got to get them thinned out, that's all. There's always stuff to do around this kind of property. Well, here's the creek again. It flows into a pipe here, so I can take the lawnmower across on the other side of the yard. Comes out just underneath this plant. I broke off some branches from the weeping willows and stuck them in here in this pool, and they rooted. Now I got to pull them out. I'm growing them just in case I got to replace some more, but this is where it dumps into the pond. That's about it, everybody. Hope you've enjoyed the little tour. Best wishes to you all. My salmon season is around the corner, and then I'll be gone for 2 months. Take care, everybody.